Hey everybody, it is Eric Lucas with GG Homes here in San Diego, your favorite local real estate investor, and this is your Monday motivation. So this is part two of the video series I'm doing on the best advice that you ever got in your life. And I said I was going to talk about the three best pieces of advice I ever got and honor my three father figures. So father figure number two was kind of a strange father figure. So my first job in college was working at a BMW dealership as a porter, basically a lot attendant was what they called it. And really, it was a terrible job, but I liked being around BMWs. I was a car guy, and I probably would have worked that job for free just because, as an 18, 19-year-old kid, I got to drive M3s and M5s. And the fact that I actually got paid for it, whatever, that was just kind of icing on the cake. So the general manager of the dealership, his name was Anthony. He was an Italian guy from New York, and a lot of the other lot of tenants were scared of him because he had a really, really bad temper, and he was always yelling at people. He was always angry. But I quickly figured out that, you know what, he was also very fair. So me, I've got a lot of family from New York. My parents are from New York. So I kind of guess I know how to deal with New Yorkers. And I know that, I'd rather have somebody be straight up and honest with me than somebody, maybe sugarcoat something and, just try to be nice. I like when people are direct. So I wasn't afraid of Anthony. He was direct, but he was fair. And you know what? If I screwed up, the best thing to do was to say, hey, I'm sorry I screwed up. And you know what? We'd move on from it. But I tell you what, he taught me how to swear in some of the most colorful way and creative ways. And I can't probably talk about it on camera, but he took swearing to an entirely new level, and I learned some very creative ways to cuss because of him. Some ways that my friends and I still joke about that also work with me at the dealership at that time. Anyway, so one particular day, and I guess I will quote him here in this one. So one particular day I was checking cars in, and the cars would come off of the shipping truck, and I would have to check them for damage. And, if there was any damage, I would mark it. So I checked a bunch of cars in, and I forgot to check the roofs of the vehicles. And if you know about car shipping, you know that the roof is one of the easiest places for cars to get damage on because there's not a lot of clearance on the truck. And if they don't strap the cars down the right way, then it's possible for the cars to bounce up and get damage on the roof. So I forget exactly how Anthony found out that I didn't check the roofs for damage, but he was really pissed off at me. So we went out, we looked at all the roofs, and luckily none of them were damaged, but I screwed up. I forgot to check them in, and if there was damage, then, I would have been in a lot of trouble. So Anthony's direct quote was, he said, Eric, I need you to listen to me very carefully. I need you to listen to me very carefully, and you need to remember this. You need to think about this the rest of your life. He said, this is a sick, cruel world where people are always going to try to fuck you. So what you need to do, any situation you get in your life, any situation at all, you need to ask myself, how can this guy fuck me? And then you figure out a way to prevent it. And as crude as that quote might have been, it really is a great piece of advice because sure enough, in a lot of situations in my life, I would think, okay, whether it's business or whether it's life or whatever, it's like, how can this person, how can this company, how can I get screwed over in this situation? And then sure enough, you figure out a way to prevent it. You figure out a way to keep it from happening. And, maybe it's not politically correct to say that. Maybe people don't want to think about it that way. But it's true that people in this world will always try to take advantage of you. And it's on you to keep them from taking advantage of you. So as crude as Anthony's advice might have been, he was 100% right. And I really appreciated that advice. And my friends and I kind of joke about it. One of my best friends was present for this conversation. He also worked at the dealership. And he was cracking up as Anthony yelled at me and told me that. But you know what? It was great advice. And I'm grateful for that advice. So when you guys are out there in real estate, you know what? You got to put yourself first. And you got to ask yourself, in all these situations, protect yourself. Protect yourself so you don't get taken advantage of. And, whether it's getting a listing agreement signed or getting a contract signed, you always got to look out for yourself and protect yourself to keep people from stealing your deals, stealing your ideas, stealing your clients. And there's no harm in protecting your hard work. So anyway, this is your Monday motivation. Go out there and get it, everybody. Cheers.